So last week's episode was fun.
It was.
We found out after our kids listened that we might have missed some stuff.
Yeah, and
But, maybe we'll do a follow-up.
I screwed up some things about family history stuff too, so.
Yeah, your sister called you on it, and I feel bad
Yeah.
because I said at one point, I remember saying at one point that there was a significant age gap between you and your sister. And you're like, yeah, 6 years, which now isn't significant. All I meant was that at the time, the difference between 6 and 12 was huge.
Right.
The difference between 10 and 16, that's a huge difference at the time. Not so much when you get older. I wasn't calling you old, Tam. It was just saying at the time there was a very different mindset between the ages.
So today's not going to be as fun. Today we're going to be talking about something that pretty much changed the world. It changed careers, changed marriages, changed friendships. Definitely changed our kids, especially our youngest one. Changed us. It changed how we work. It changed how we trust. It changed how we think about how we think about a lot of things, quite frankly. And for not only people in their 50s like us, it stole a lot of years of learning back. We're going to be talking today about COVID and how COVID changed the world. This is the Thor Project.
All right, so today I think we're both on the same page. We're doing a bit of a sober Sunday. So we will tink in, but we will tink in sober-ishly.
Sober-ish?
Is that a word? Well, yeah, because I still might be feeling the effects of last night.
Oh.
Sober Sunday.
And I'm just supporting you.
Does not mean we had a sober Saturday. We went to a friend's house and didn't go crazy. Didn't go crazy. It was more the staying up late than anything else. But so I will be drinking my Diet Dr. Pepper. And you have
cranberry juice.
Again.
Nice.
You need to drink that. You need to drink that in a very different cup. That just makes it look creepy. I don't know why.
Right.
You say cranberry doesn't look like it. All right. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
So the thing I want to do today with talking about COVID is I definitely want to avoid the politics of it as much as possible. I don't want to do a lot of, who's right and who's wrong. I don't want to alienate anybody from either side of it. And that's not really the debate that I want to have right now as far as COVID. It's not about debating the sides. It's really kind of about the shared experiences that we all that we all had during and after, quite frankly. I want people who view things from both sides, and I'm sure the comments are going to go crazy with people's opinions on things, and I guess that's fine. That's the place for that. Just keep it civil. But I think the people from both viewpoints can all look back and just remember things like how empty the highways were, how isolated we all felt, how the missed milestones for ourselves and our kids in a lot of ways. They'll probably look back a little more fondly on remote work and things like that, but
yeah.
But that whole sense of the way things are now divided between before COVID and after COVID. There's a lot of milestones in our lives, and I think COVID is a pretty big one. And that's kind of where we want to approach it from. Like cell phones, I mean, we look at our daughter, and our daughter is probably the last side of a generation that's going to remember landlines, and she has no concept of what a rotary phone is, but I think she was telling us, she remembers cameras. I think she was telling us that they did a study where they asked kids to take a picture, and they reached a certain age group, like just under her, where, most people are like, pantomime like you're taking a picture. And we would go like this. And then they were doing like this because they're holding their phones. So we're very shortly, I think, going to be hitting a generation or a side of a generation where they're not going to understand the, I don't want to run out of toilet paper fear. or when we talk about how bad COVID was, they're not really gonna understand. I mean, you really think about it. I mean, ultimately, it was 6 years ago at this point.
It seems so long ago.
The beginning of it, it seems a lot longer.
Sorry.
Oh my God, do you have it?
Remember that? That's another one.
Yeah, we'll get there. You know, they'll hear the stories about the like the toilet paper and the masks and the Zoom meetings and the big this screwed me that in. I completely forgot about it. The big 6-foot stickers.
Yeah.
On the floor of the supermarket. You'd walk in the supermarket, be like 6 feet apart, or you stand here, you can stand here, and they would have footprints. Yeah, so I mean, and there's things that actually never came back from that, and they won't know why. It'll just be normal for them, which is weird to me. It was a very weird few years. We actually had a lot going on at the time. I've got the newly diagnosed heart problems. I have a stent put in. I'm still recovering from that. I'm on blood thinners and all kinds of medications. And then along comes this virus, this pandemic that pretty much targets people in my exact position, that is, at the time believed to be super, super deadly.
Yeah, you're pretty scared shitless.
And I was pretty scared. You listen to the hype, and I'm not saying people didn't die. That's a lot of people died. I just
didn't want to be one of them.
And yeah. I mean, I'm glad I took the precautions that we took. Things like when you just coughed, we'd be like, "Are you okay? Do you have it? You have to get tested. You got to get tested because I can't be around it. You can't. What if you have it? What are you gonna do if you have it? What if you have it? We're all gonna die."
Right. And I have my cough. That's my cough.
Yeah. You're
walking around in a store or anything, and I get hit with one of my cough attacks, and everyone's looking at me like I'm gonna kill them because I'm coughing, and it's like, I don't have COVID. I just have a cough I get every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People would sneeze and be like,
but we even say it now still.
Yeah. We still make
the
COVID joke. COVID. And you'll still get the looks if you say it too loud. So looking back, the first thing I remember about it is I remember hearing about it in late 2019. And I had heard about it starting in China, and the way they had described it was pretty ominous. I mean, I've seen things before where like, there's a bout of something in this country, so we all have to be careful. But the way they were wording this was weird. Where I instantly went back to check on it. Where is it now? Where is it now? Where is it now? I don't know. I don't know what it was about it or what they had said to get me to think a little bit more highly of it after first hearing about it. But it was definitely constantly in my head, and I was constantly checking up on it. But
we're supposed to go on vacation.
We were supposed to go on vacation,
and we're like, screw it, we're going anyway.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yep.
When it first started.
This is a few months later. I mean, that's a little bit later into you're going into April of 2020 now.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, that's when I mean, so I'm talking probably October, late. Well, my stuff was September, so maybe October, November is when they first start talking about it, and then by April, they're shutting things down in the United States, which was crazy. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't fly anywhere, you couldn't go anywhere. I mean, 2 weeks, they said.
Right.
2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Right. Just stay in your house for 2 weeks.
And everybody will be fine. How'd that go?
Right.
Not well. That's the answer. I was working. I was cutting meat at the time, so I was working in the food store. Yep. And as soon as things started shutting down, even a little bit, the store was mobbed. It was crazy. The crazy thing about my place is they weren't coming in and they weren't buying, staples. I don't mean metal staples. I mean, the things that you would think they needed. Because of where we live, they were coming in, and I cut more filet mignon than I cut at Christmas time during COVID.
Yeah.
These people are stocking up on ribeyes and strip steaks and filet mignon. It was not normal. It was not
yeah,
normal.
But again, you were in a town that
I don't care where you're from. If that's if the first thing that
Right.
pops in your head is that the world's going to end, I need my filet mignon. There's a problem. Yeah, and if you're one of the people that I cut it for, shame on you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, kudos to you.
Right. Yeah, they enjoyed some food while they were hanging out at home.
That's right. Yeah, if my insides are gonna turn to mush, they're gonna turn to mush with filet inside them.
Yeah.
So we didn't really plan too much. I don't think. I think in our heads it was going to be like a power outage.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple days of adjustment, and again, because that's what they kept telling us. It's a couple weeks. Just got to get through the next couple weeks. So, I mean, we planned accordingly. We didn't go overboard, which is fine because it really wasn't like that. I mean, it wasn't like Zombieland, where you got to raid the overturned Twinkie truck.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Probably the weirdest thing about that time was the fact that you couldn't get toilet paper. I mean, of all the things that you would think that we've got plenty of that you're not going to run out of, people stocked up on toilet paper.
Because they were eating filet, and you know what red meat can do to some people.
That's true. So, I mean, it literally got to the point where my boss was able to get some and put it up high on the shelves behind the counters for sale in a meat store.
Right. Yeah. That and paper towels.
Yeah.
Because I remember paper towels because Dudley, our little basset, was going through a tract infection and peeing everywhere, and I had no way to clean it up because you go to the store and people would have like carriages of them, and I just want to roll. Like, I don't need paper towels. If I don't need to clean for a couple of months, I'm good with that. But and if I need to wipe my hands off, but if I need to, wipe my hands or something, I have like cloth towels I can use. But I can't clean up dog pee with that. So it was just, and people are so selfish.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we're just trying to clean up our dog's urinary tract infection, and people are fist fighting over the Charmin.
Yeah.
So stupid. Yeah. Don't squeeze the Charmin, but also don't kill each other over the Charmin.
Right. That didn't happen in The Walking Dead. I didn't see anyone fighting over toilet paper.
Right.
Paper towels.
Like an actual problem.
Yeah.
They were a little more worried about food. Yeah, don't worry, we're gonna run out of food. You're gonna shit way less. like civilization's hanging by a single roll of Charmin Ultra Soft. I remember fondly, actually, driving, hitting the road, going out, and that's kind of where we escaped the house a little bit more. I wasn't able to not work, and neither were you. We worked in the food industry, and you hear about all the essential workers in fire, police, medical.
Which they were.
Oh yeah, no dispute. But they kind of forgot about us. We were also on the front lines of it.
Right.
I remember being in the shop and we had to put up big plexiglass screens between us and the people. And I'm like, I don't think anybody who's planning this, and this isn't the people that work, this is like the things that are mandated by, I don't think the people who are making these rules understand that
bacteria can go around that.
Air goes around. The bacteria is not gonna be like, oh shit, glass. There's a gap this big at the bottom of it, but it's down here, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Bizarre. But so when we weren't at work and we wanted to get out, there's nowhere to really go because everything was closed. So we would just drive, and you could get on the highway anywhere. And it wasn't like an apocalypse where, there's burning cars on the side of the road, but there's nobody on the roads.
Right.
You could go just about anywhere and get there really, really fast. and
Yeah.
without me yelling at anybody.
Which is a miracle in itself. See, I remember going into the grocery store, and that was scary for me.
Yeah, I remember you coming home and saying that. Like, it was really
Like,
eerie.
there was no food on the shelves.
Yeah.
And
just that
I
dumbass
remember,
robot bumping into you.
Right. And I remember going to like the frozen food section because at the time you were eating frozen spinach, which you won't touch now. And
because it's
I couldn't find it. And I'm after your.
Oh, by the way, let's clarify. It's not because I stopped eating vegetables. I eat fresh spinach.
Yes.
That frozen stuff is garbage.
But I needed it because that's what you were eating because of what you just went through with your heart and everything. So you're very like, you needed to eat the right foods and I couldn't find them for you. And then all the shelves were empty and it was really a scary time of seeing, it felt like apocalypse walking through there.
Yeah. Yeah. You got good parking though.
You did get good parking. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's got its benefits.
That's right.
So restaurants are a big one for me. That's one of the biggest lasting changes I think that you can see on almost a daily basis. The way they function, their hours, their menus, everything changed and never went back. The first thing they did was they minimized their menus. I mean, we couldn't go into a bar and have a drink. You had to order food.
Right.
They didn't want anybody socializing. You were there to eat and then get out. But they kind of streamlined all their menus, pulled everything back.
Which Gordon Ramsay would love because,
right.
You're supposed to have
that's what he always says. That's the first thing he does. They shaved their hours. They cut their hours way back.
Yeah. And it's still like...
and never went back.
I was talking to my cousin yesterday, Friday, and just touching base, and she was saying how she went out and it was 8:00 at night and they wanted to stop and get dinner and they couldn't find a restaurant open where they were. And I said, no, because they're all done by 8:00, 9:00. Bars, there's no 1:00 in the morning anymore for the bars. They're 10:00. You better be out of there. I go out to dinner.
One was last call. They closed. They were open until 2.
Right. Now you drive down the street 10:00. So waiters and waitresses are like, woo-hoo, because they're not working those crazy hours anymore. But it definitely changed the social aspect of going out.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun. I mean, sometimes you go out or you're at some godforsaken dance recital and that don't get done until 9:00 at night, or some garbage graduation that your dumb kids had to have.
Right.
and you need a drink and you can't stop because there's nowhere to go.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy to me that some of those things stuck. But then there were some cool things. We went to a place a few towns away from us during COVID with friends of ours when they opened things up a little bit, but we ate outside in the winter in a bubble.
Yeah, the plastic domes.
It was our plastic dome. And we had a great dinner with our friends, and I would love that now.
Yeah,
that'd be something. But they took them all down. It's like, well, what'd you do with the plastic dome? You bought them. Would you throw them in storage now? That was an awesome idea.
Right.
So keep that kind of stuff, and maybe put some hours back on your schedule.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a little sad that it wrecked things socially, permanently. Not even just in the short term. Then there's the kids. Like I think Linnea got hit the most with it. Our daughter got hit the most with it. I mean, she was
in high school.
Yeah.
At a dance high school.
Yeah.
She went to school for dance, like fame. Fame. And so she was dancing in our kitchen for her classes because she couldn't go to school and do that.
Yep. Well, she was dancing in the kitchen, and then I built the little thing for her downstairs in the basement. She had to put down her tap board.
Yeah.
with the handrail, and yeah, she would film her stuff down there in this little, 4 foot by 4 foot box. It's probably bigger than that, but you know what I mean. And yeah, and just friends interactions.
Yeah, they have a hard enough time socializing when they're in a school environment around everyone, and now they have to figure out how to socialize through video. And not even her. She had some aspect, but think of the little kids when they were just starting school or in elementary school, and now the parents are now teaching them how to do their work. They're not building that frame of making friends, and
Well,
yeah,
we crap on them a lot too for their use of social media, but not for nothing. I mean, it's all a lot of them had for a couple of years,
yeah,
and they were trained to use it.
right.
This is how you interact because it's the only way to interact. We're not going to let you talk to anybody. I remember when we had when we bought this house, we had people over. I think it was the earlier stage of COVID, if I'm not mistaken, and they had limited the number of people to a gathering, something like 8, and we had like 10 people, and we're like, we're gonna get arrested. We're gonna get arrested. They're gonna drive by. They're gonna know that we have
Yeah.
2 extra people here, and we're gonna get thrown out. Yeah.
But before that, in our other house, you remember we had game night via
Yeah.
Zoom or
Yeah.
Teams or
Yeah.
whatever that
we
everybody
did.
had at
Yeah.
their house.
Yeah. We
Or
did.
yeah.
Yeah, your birthday, right? Is that what you're gonna bring up?
Yeah.
Yeah, your birthday party.
My
When
big 5-0.
Yeah,
It
everybody
was my
drove by,
50th.
honked and waved.
They all parked on the outside of my driveway at their
Yeah.
cars. Thanks, Nance. And yeah, waved from afar to say happy birthday to me. So thanks, guys. And I cried. I just cried because it was just a horrible time. And not because it was my birthday, but just that you couldn't be with other people and celebrate with friends and hang out with people, and also cried because of the care people had.
Mm.
But
Yeah, but that kind of leads into kind of my next thought. How much of the social anxiety that these kids have now do you think stems from that? Or there's a lot of kids who are lonely, a lot of kids. We look at it from Linnea's perspective. She was a little bit older, so she kind of had to take her experiences and then deal with this new situation. What about these kids who are younger, who are in those years where they're learning how to
Right.
socialize?
well, that's what I was
And-
saying. When they were in
and-
school, they had nothing to teach them how to.
Right.
But
Yeah, this is what they learned.
But she even said it caused her more anxiety.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's how you hear about all these people that have a lot of anxiety because of this. I don't know. Is it anxiety because of they were away from people so long that I don't know exactly what it is. Is it because they didn't learn they didn't do it for so long, so that they had to relearn how to be around people? It made them a little bit anxious to get out and talk to people again. Like you said, a lot of the kids, when you try to talk to a kid, they don't know how to look at you, or their eyes are down. Some people will be introverted and have those issues, but a lot of times it's because, yeah, their face was in the phone for those 2 years, so they didn't learn how to interact.
Yeah, or make that personal contact.
Right.
Yeah. What about what do you remember about when you first got it? Because you were the first one in the family to get it.
Yeah. What do I remember?
Yeah.
I remember waking up not feeling great, and I'm like, "Oh no." And then I walked out to the couch and I sat down and my whole body ached. I had a fever, but I didn't want to tell you because you were so paranoid and you kept saying, "This thing's going to kill me. I'm going to die from this." And I'm on the couch and you're like, "What's wrong?" I don't know. What's wrong? And I said, "I don't feel good." You're like, "Get in the car. You have to go get tested." And so I drove down to the local not even, it wasn't even a building. It was like a drive-through
Yeah.
where the nurses were with their swabs, and you rolled your window down. They stuck a swab up your nose, and you went home. A couple days later, I found out I had it, and I was shipped off to my bedroom with the door closed and wasn't allowed out for 3 weeks by you and Linnea, and because everybody was still scared
And the
because we
law.
didn't know.
And the law.
Yeah. So so I just sit in there, and it was yeah, it was crazy. It was lonely. So I get
Yeah.
with the kids, and they're sitting in their room, and just it was lonely just sitting in there by myself.
Yeah. Passing food under the door like a prisoner.
Well, not yeah, you'd leave it at
Yeah.
the door, a little knock,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're a prisoner.
Yeah.
And you were
And then
really anxious if I would come out, and did you touch the door handles? Wash the door handles. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember when I lost my smell, and
Yeah, that's correct. You did not smell anymore.
yeah,
Oh, you
yeah,
mean your sense of smell?
my sense of smell. And you're like, great, great. Wait, hold, because I was laying with Dudley, my head on Dudley, and I'm like, I don't smell the dog. I mean, he didn't stink, but he
Yeah,
smelled
but
like a
dogs have a
dog.
smell.
And I couldn't smell anything because it's weird. You can still breathe, you're just not smelling anything. And I texted you or whatever, and you were quite upset. So you went and got like some smelly candle of Linnea, some peppermint smelly thing, and lit it and had me smell it. Nothing. And
Hey, you say quite upset. Like you keep painting me like I was angry.
no, you weren't angry, but you were angry at it happening because
Yeah, and I was very anxious. I
yeah,
mean, I was freshly dealing with a new situation that was very dangerous to me already, and then this happened.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's scary. I mean, that did, you know me. I was very affected by that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things that I don't think anyone will forget. Like, where were you when?
It was such an odd, scary time, and with conflicting information too. And we'll go back to actually having COVID in a second. But let's touch really quick on the whole, you don't need to wear a mask. Nobody needs to wear masks. You're fine. Just stay 6 feet apart. You'll be good. That's the distance it can travel in the air. Well, why are like nurses wearing masks like out in public? Like, do they know something we don't know? Nope. You're fine. It's just extra caution. That's all for that. Well, do we need extra caution? Nope. And then within a couple of months, like everyone needs to have a mask on right now, always.
Right.
What if I'm home? What if I'm driving my car by myself? Nope, mask.
Right.
Those are my favorites. You see people driving in a car by themselves with a mask on.
Still
To this day.
Yeah. But then you start getting like nose sores from the
Yep.
clamps on your nose. People are getting and sore at the end of the nose, and yeah, crazy times. I don't remember anything like this. You're trying to relate it to we're in our 50s and we experience this, but I don't, parents, grandparents had the depression, but like every generation doesn't have something like that.
Yeah.
Well, they all experience, but do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
I think the only good thing about it is it was, relatively speaking, it was a relatively short term. It seems like a long time for people who are younger, but it was really only a couple of years of our lives that, which I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying, I mean, it could have gone on a lot longer. I mean, imagine if it had been 10 years.
yeah.
So that's really what ended up getting me out of retail. Was I had worked so hard during it. It burned me out. I ruined my body. I mean, ruined my back even more than it already was. I was putting in so many hours, and I had to get out. I couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, it's just too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
And it just made me realize that wasn't where I needed to be as I got older. So I ended up in the automotive industry, which was completely blocked off by the supply chain problems caused by COVID. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Are
so
you
it was
still?
so it was way less stressful.
And aren't there still like? I mean,
There's certainly still ramifications. A lot of stuff never came back.
but let's even go back to like cars being sold. All the parking lots now or used to be full of cars,
Yeah,
and now you drive by them, and there's not a lot of cars there, and people can order them online and stuff. But I don't think that may have happened had COVID not happened
right.
because people had to cut back inventory, and then they were able to realize, wait, we don't need this huge allotment of cost sitting in our. But I think it was triggered by what happened with
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah, I agree. Also, when they had the lots and lots and lots of cars just sitting there waiting for chips, waiting for chips to come in from China, and that they couldn't move. I mean, sitting on that inventory costs a fortune. The
Right.
inability to move
Right.
those vehicles. So yeah, I mean, and it drove the cost of everything way up too. I mean, here we are in this place where people are losing their jobs, or at least short term. They're making less money. I mean,
Well,
the
no,
government was.
they were getting $1,200 a week
I'm getting
for.
there. That
Okay.
came a little bit later. That was my favorite when the first time I ended up getting COVID. Or no, it was when you got COVID, and I wasn't allowed to come back into work because you had it
Right.
until you were free and clear. And so I applied for that temporary unemployment for the week and a half I was out, and they denied it. The stuff that everybody else was getting and gets anyway half the time. I
Right.
couldn't get it during COVID. Everybody else is getting it, no problem, no questions asked, and they just denied me outright.
Right.
Yeah, I went a week
I
and a half without
remember
pay, 10 days
I
without pay.
remember with someone because it was I think 600 and 1,200 or something. Singles or got 600 and families got 1,200 or something.
Something like that.
And I remember someone saying to me, "I don't even care about going back. I'm making more money sitting home with the
Yep.
reimbursement checks than if
Yeah.
I was working." So, and I'm sitting there looking at her being like, "But I'm working and I'm not making as much
Right.
as you are not working." Again, we don't want to get political, but
That's not political. That's the way
a
it
fact.
was. I mean, that's
What
just a
what
fact.
happened?
I mean, we're busting our asses in these, and there's no extra pay for people like us.
Right.
It was bizarre. Everybody else is doing what they do, and we're sitting there be like, I
Right.
still have to go to work every day, and I'm making less than these people who aren't going in.
Right.
You're how essential do I feel right now as an essential
Right.
worker? Not very.
Again, we're not taking away from healthcare, and they were
No,
essential,
but they were the same
definite,
way. They're the same
same
way.
way.
It's all of us.
Yeah.
Anybody in those essential roles. I mean, I believe there were people who got hazard pay though.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it, but
So what else changed about work? A lot of people went remote,
yeah.
which begged the question later on: if you could run remote for a couple of years, why all of a sudden does everybody have to be back at work afterward? What's funny is
Control.
too is now 6 years later, there's still people who just in the past year have been told, no, we got to get back to being in the office.
Right.
They're like they were able to stretch that out for as long as humanly possible. But yeah, I don't know why I couldn't find something like that.
You can't cut meat remote, and you can't
No.
be in the
No.
automotive industry remote. So
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
half of
remember
corporate America realized they didn't have to wear pants.
that is true. We got some good memes out of that. But okay, we can relate this to like our generations in the 50s versus, our kids or whatever, because when I had the job I had, I was able to work remote. Well, first of all, we had to work remote because I had just gotten it. I got it during it, and everybody was remote. And then we slowly went back to work. But we had the option if we wanted to work home, if something came up, when I was dealing with stuff with the family and whatever, and I had to take someone to my mom, whatever, to a doctor's appointment, I would just work from home because she lives 5 minutes from me. Where I had to take her was 10 minutes from me. So I was able to work. It was rather than driving the half an hour to work, I would work from home and save that time and keep working. And I was one of those people who would work because that's what you're supposed to do. And I couldn't take advantage of sitting at the computer or not sitting at the computer. I know somebody who is like, yeah, I'm going to work remotely today because I have to clean my house.
That's what it's for.
So but in relation to us, you were constantly like, you're going to lose your job. What are you doing? You're going to work from home. You have to, and you couldn't get in your head that people were working remotely because our generation, you went to work every day.
Listen to me. Why did we start this podcast?
Fuck off. So
No. I need to hear it.
Yeah, because of that job I did lose,
Because
but I
you
didn't
lost
lose
your
because I was
Maybe
working
I was just
remotely.
predicting, or maybe they were
Yes.
just carrying that.
Yes, but no, because everybody did. But I'm
Yeah, I
saying you were from the generation of no, you get up, you go to work, you come home, and we have like our kids, friends and stuff who one of them got hired and they told him you're never coming into the office we don't have an office anymore. You're going to work from home. That's I mean, makes sense, right? You don't have to pay rent for a building and people can work from home. Your IT people can keep an eye on what people are doing for working. And I mean, but then you got people like the engineers who came up with ways of having your mouse move around, when they weren't really
right.
sitting
So it
at
triggers.
the.
It was a weird time for us family wise, because right when it was happening, we moved I moved to a new town, and shortly after that, my son met his future wife, my oldest. So he stopped being around. He wasn't around too much. He was with her, and my other son was in Georgia at the time. Right?
Yeah.
Is my timeline right? Yeah. Working for University of Georgia Bulldogs football team. And so he wasn't around. My daughter was going through what she was going through. So I don't know that it affected us as far as a lot of families all of a sudden had to spend a lot of time together, I guess is what I'm saying. I think we would have been fine because we were a family who always did spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
We did game nights and still try to do as many as we can. And we actually enjoy being around our family and always have. But I think a lot of families suffered by being thrown together in these situations without any kind of respite or escape.
Or, well, go ahead. I was going to say, or people got together because of desperate of not wanting to be alone.
Right. Well, then that's the other thing. Some actually learned that they do like to spend time with each other.
Yeah, right.
And then, some people learn that, maybe actually going to the office isn't so bad. I had read that the divorce rate went up, and then when I looked further into it, I read that is disputed. So I don't really know what the facts are on it. But I know COVID took away any kind of separation between you and that family. You know what I mean? I mean, it threw you into this thing where, you're not commuting back and forth to work anymore. The kids are home all day. Financial stresses, even people who are getting these checks. A, you don't know how long those checks are going to hold up. B, you don't know how long they're going to have to hold up. You don't know if your job's going to be there when you get back, and these checks dry up.
And the stresses of your kid being in school and now you're its teacher because
right.
They don't have the interaction with the teacher. So now you're trying, if you are working, you're working plus you're being the teacher to your kid.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't pack up and take the kids on vacation. You can't be like, I'm so sick of everything's going on, or I need a night out with the wife. You couldn't do that because there was nowhere to go to. You couldn't go to the gym. Gyms were closed. I
remember one time Linnea was getting really bothered by being alone, and it's scary for her kids and not what's going on out in life. I put her in the car and we drove to the beach. And I just showed her there were people out there, and there were people sitting at the beach and they're, you know, separate or in their cars, but and we drove around the town because I wanted to show her the stuff, like life was still going on. You know, it's a scary unknown time, but um, yeah, it's still happening. But yeah, but what I was saying too is a lot of people got together because they didn't want to be alone. So I think maybe divorce rates are up now because they were getting together so they weren't alone, but maybe
Yeah,
they shouldn't have
yeah,
gotten with those people, you know,
yeah. That's true.
and then bring up the poor pups. Everybody had to have a dog because they were home. So let's bring in dogs because, hey, family and dogs, and
Yeah.
we'll
Then they
take
go
care
back
of
to
it.
work.
They go back to work, and now all the shelters are full because you idiots got dogs and didn't realize the responsibility of taking that on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like when we tried to return our dogs, they wouldn't take them because they were already full.
Yeah, that's how
So,
we got as many as
so
we
now,
did.
now here we are. It's kind of ironic that we're not drinking because another stat that I was thinking about is I'm trying to figure out why young people aren't drinking as much. Like alcohol sales are way down.
Oh yeah,
And I started thinking when I was looking into
because we're
doing
all
this episode.
smoking.
Well, yeah, that too. We discussed that a little bit
Yeah.
the week before last. But I wonder what their metric is for measuring alcohol sales, because if they're measuring it on a decline over the last few years, yeah, alcohol sales were through the roof during COVID.
Right.
I mean that was guaranteed money. It was being a liquor store owner.
Right. True.
So yeah, I'd like to know what their metric is, and if it's down from that or if it's down overall. But yeah,
I think yeah.
I remember we were getting into wine then.
Yeah.
we were liking wine. But yeah.
And
whiskey.
no, I didn't know I thought you were going somewhere with it.
No, I'm just saying we also, found a little bit more time to throw some back.
Yeah, but I think it's a combination. That's a whole nother topic. I don't think. Well, I think
I was just thinking. I was
but-
mostly making the comment that alcohol sales were through. People were drinking. Maybe it's because
Right.
they had to spend time with these families that they never hung around with. All of a sudden, I mean, that'll certainly do it.
But I also think it's because the social, that going out Thursday night, college night, partying night didn't exist anymore because they couldn't.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and I think it changed the way, and I think
Yeah.
some, other sources of feeling better were another option for them.
Kind of usurped it. Yeah. Yep, that's true. That's true. Yeah, people just found different ways to cope.
Right.
Or are finding different ways to cope. The technology changed for sure. I mean, think about the things now that are normal. We talked about remote work. Remote work was kind of a thing where you knew you'd heard of a guy who did it, and then by COVID, we all know not just one but multiple people who do it to this day multiple times. Zoom took off. Zoom was the thing, but Zoom really found its niche.
But people forgot too they were on Zoom.
Yeah.
So they'd have to business attire up top and party on the bottom and get up and they'd be in their underwear or something. Or like Linnea had
how cameras work.
Yeah. Linnea had a teacher that was doing her class and teaching regular class, but she also had a class she was tutoring or she had a side gig, and they were both going at the same time, and the kids were like, what is going on? And I think someone found out, and she got in some trouble because
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so you got Zoom, you got remote work, telehealth.
Oh yeah.
We had to. I remember having video appointments with my doctor. I'm like, I don't know what we're accomplishing here. But,
you want $300 to check on my heart that you can't
to ask me how I'm feeling.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. DoorDash took off. Any of those delivery systems. What was Stop and Shop's? Peapod. I don't even know if they do Peapod anymore. Now it's
Instacart.
I think they do Instacart.
Brandon
I don't
he made
groceries.
bank.
Yeah.
he would go there. Linnea would go and help him, and he'd have like 3 carriages at once of shopping for people and hustling out there because people couldn't go to the store. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. My least favorite thing technology wise to come out of COVID is QR code menus.
Oh yeah.
What a freaking nightmare.
Right.
I'm sorry. I get crappy service. I can't get your menu. Can I just get a paper menu, please? No, sir. I'm
What?
sorry. We don't have a paper menu.
Right.
Well, how the hell am I supposed to know what you have?
Right.
I hate
And you're
those.
putting with the kids making fun of you on your font size and everything else on your phone because you're old. When you take a menu, now
That
you
was
can't.
personal. That was you
Yeah.
just got personal.
Now you put a menu on the screen that's like 6 inches long, and you got to like
I got to read it.
expand it just to see like 2 words, and then you got to scroll across to see what it comes with. And yeah, give me the friggin' paper menu, or just tell me.
Bizarre. So I guess it's not really technology, but it's kind of technology based, but podcasts. I mean, if we had started during COVID, we would have, we could have been, so it could have been a contender.
Yeah. We still can be, but it definitely launched many people's careers. Good for them for getting it and figuring it out. And congratulations on that, because there's something out there for everybody.
Yep.
Yep.
There's very little out there though for the 50 plus crowd, like just a kind of a husband wife team, just kind of talking things through and having fun with it. There's really very little, which surprises me. I mean, you would think somebody who kind of found that little rabbit hole would be booming, but who knows? We'll never know.
I was just thinking, when you said Brandon was in Georgia, we actually went to his graduation, his master's graduation. Do you remember? For UConn.
Oh my God, yes.
We had to sit
outside
in the stadium, and we had to sit at Rentschler Field, huge stadium, but everybody had to sit 6 feet apart. Outside in this. It was a master's program, so it wasn't a huge amount of kids graduating for that degree or whatever. But yeah, we're all outside.
I want to talk a little bit about having COVID. I remember, so we had just bought this house when I got it for I think the second time, and I didn't get many symptoms at first. They came later. I was really, really lethargic. I had no strength. I'm trying to. We moved in here in September,
August of 2020, end of August.
End of August. So yeah, so I had some plans for the basement that I wanted to do before Christmas time. So I wanted to get cracking on it, and I'm building and putting things together, and I'm doing it by myself, which was fine at the time.
No, because I had COVID.
Right, you were sick with COVID.
I was locked up. I was locked up in the bedroom,
and I wasn't allowed to go to work, so I had this time too. So I'm doing it, and I'm a couple days in, and all of a sudden I've got no strength. I can't lift things into place. I walking up and down the stairs, I felt like I was going to die. Not like with my heart stuff, but like I just didn't have the strength to do it. I got really bad brain fog. God, I don't remember when or how long after I got actually sick, but I had that long COVID for a long time. That's what they call it, long COVID. Yeah. And I remember we went bowling. Was it for now? It couldn't have been. Was it for Brandon's birthday? No, because that would have been October. But we ended up bowling at Johnson Lanes. They opened it up for, you could space it out, and they had it so you could. And we went out to dinner afterward, and we're at dinner. I was fine bowling, and then we were at dinner, and I started sneezing. Not cough. I just started sneezing uncontrollably, and by the next day, I couldn't breathe. My head felt like this big, and we tested it, and that's when we found out that I actually had COVID. I was thinking the other stuff was my heart stuff, my meds, and I really feel like some of the stuff has been permanent.
I think so,
Like
definitely.
I
So
haven't been able to get my strength back. So post my heart stuff, my stent, I had started running again. I started to get my cardio back on track and start exercising my heart. My numbers were all pretty good. I got whacked with COVID, and to this day, I can't run like I used to.
I think, okay.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I agree. I've had it 3 times that I know of, if not more. Because you think you had it before it was a thing. Remember
Yeah,
right
I do
before
think
everything.
I got it right before
Um,
it.
and my sister actually said the same thing. There was a point where she couldn't get up the stairs, and I remember her talking to me and telling me how she was feeling and stuff. And this is before the COVID major thing became. But anyway, I got it 3 times. The first time was the worst. The second 2, and when I say I was locked up in my room, I really couldn't get out of bed. I mean, it was, it wasn't, yeah, I was in there so no one else got sick or whatever. But the other 2, the second time was, bad cold kind of thing. The third time was a little bit. But when I lost my sense of smell, my smell has not returned. Yes, I can smell things, but you will ask me sometimes, what is that smell? Can you smell that? I don't. I can smell things, but I don't have the crisp, clear, identifying smell of things. Um, I think I got it in October, my first time. November, December. 3 months later, I got diverticulitis.
That's what I was looking down for. I wanted to pull up the stats on it because I have something weird to say about that. Go ahead.
And I'm like, I truly think I don't necessarily think COVID caused diverticulitis. I think COVID, the virus attacked that area of my body. And because I already had stomach issues, it's kind of like a history with us women in my family, and it kind of came on and it kind of screwed me up down there. I had no issue. I didn't have any major issues or anything, and now I've got some issues from it, and I think it stems from that.
It's funny that you brought that up because I was just looking it up, and less than 5% of people with diverticulosis will ever develop diverticulitis. You and I have both had COVID at least 3 times. You and I both have diverticulitis.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, the chances, if it's less than 5% of the people and you and I both have it,
Yeah.
what's the common denominator of the fact that we live together? Or maybe we gave it to each other.
Maybe.
That's possible too. I think about that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think it definitely attacks people's weak spot. But then are you still on the health?
I'm on whatever you want to be on.
So I was just thinking
Except that.
you were talking about like
I was
how
what? I was sex?
Yeah. You're sexy, honey.
I appreciate that. So true. So true. Hold on. I'll edit that out.
No, you shouldn't. That's definitely people in the 50s will remember that
clapper?
commercial. Yeah, the he actually has the clapper.
I do, but it's a special clapper. It's a Darth Vader clapper.
Yes.
So yeah, you clap it on. It says the force is strong in this one. Makes me feel good about myself.
Well, somebody does anyway. So I was just thinking back when you were talking about how it affected families and everything, and remember when I have a couple of things to say. One of them was it was Christmas time. We were invited over to a friend's house. When we were invited over, every Christmas morning they have an open house, come over. And that year, because they were letting people out or be together kind of thing or whatever, we were said, hey, let's stop over, and we went over and we hung out for a little bit, and then we went probably to the movies afterwards, or maybe they weren't, or maybe it was because they weren't having movie theaters yet, something. That's why we went over there. Next morning I wake up feeling like crap. And I'm like, oh, so I do the test and I have COVID again. Now I have to call people and tell them. And that was a horrible feeling because you feel guilty about exposing people, possibly people who have illnesses or whatever, who can't get it. And now I just expose them unknowingly, but you still feel guilty. And you had to make that phone call to say, because remember when you had to, like, who were you around for the last 10 days or whatever? And I had to call, I had to call and let them know that, yes, thank you for inviting us over the holidays, but I probably made you all sick. And
Yeah, but we're all going to die.
But we're all going to die, but we'll be together. So I don't think you ever had to call anyone, but that was a horrible feeling. Or someone calling you and being like, oh, I had it, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. Or the time, like, it was Christmas time, probably the same Christmas, and one of our son's girlfriends or whatever weren't able to go to her house. Like, she was living on her own and she wasn't able to go to her house because somebody had it. And there's health condition that again could cause complications. So they had a tough time because they couldn't be around their family. Where they could come here, but she couldn't see her family and her parents. And I think that affected a lot of people too. Like people who went to the hospital who were one dying, having babies. They couldn't have anybody in the room with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when
a
all
lot of people died alone.
Yeah, and you went in for the hospital. Do you remember when you had your food poisoning?
Mm-hmm.
And it was that time, and
Yep.
I couldn't go in with you, or yeah, it was just another time I thought about the whole thing and the loneliness, the scariness of it. And now you hear COVID, and you're like, oh, you got a cold?
Right. Yeah, it did. Certainly watered itself down a little bit.
And how about, so they still say stuff in the news about, oh, there's a virus out there right now. It's really bad. It could be worse than COVID. Do you even pay attention to that anymore?
No, that kind of touches on one of the things that I said at the beginning, which is this trust.
Right.
You know, the people we trusted to put in charge, and I'm not labeling anybody out. I mean, this is certainly multifaceted. At best, didn't give us the whole story. You know, I mean, I don't know what was overinflated, what was understated, what was not stated or blatantly lied about. But we know there was all of that. It's the boy who cried wolf. You know, and by the way, COVID was a wolf for a lot of people.
I was going to say,
it affected people so differently. But I mean, they were talking end of days. Do I think there was over exaggeration, over management of it, particularly later on? Probably.
Well, people also said a lot of people who died at that time had other things, but they just labeled it as a COVID death. Now,
Right.
I know a lot of people died. We lost a lot of people horribly from it. But yeah, there were people who said, oh yeah, if they came into the hospital and it was just during that time, so it was like a complication to COVID, but maybe they had pneumonia or something and that was going to take them out, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tread carefully because there was a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And when it first hit, I remember, people had to go in and be on ventilators. That wasn't made up. That really happened. You know, when the first one I got, I was quite sick. Never felt so. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the biggest sham to me was the masks. Everybody has to wear a mask, but it can be a cloth mask, and we all knew cloth masks weren't going to block anything. They weren't going to change.
Yeah, but then they put that little filter
thing
thing on it.
That was
Remember
just
this
common
little?
yeah.
The little.
Yeah.
thing on the
now,
side.
yeah, I get if you've got a doctor's appointment, you're going to a medical building and they want to give you a medical grade mask to walk in and be around these sick people, or people who have to deal with sick people who can't get sick. You know, you don't want these people
Right.
getting ill.
Or the ill people
on
who
the front
can't get
lines.
on, or
Right.
their immune systems are down, so they
Right,
have
right.
that, whatever you can do to protect.
I get that, but for us to be walking around in the streets with masks that you're clearly breathing right through, and all you have to do is go into a cold room and breathe, and you could see it coming through the mask. I mean,
Right.
it was ludicrous. It was ridiculous. It was I can't even describe it, but showmanship at its finest. You know, we're doing something. You know, but yeah, whatever. I don't want to get too much into that. You know, there was mistakes made in a lot of places, and some not mistakes. Crime. So I was looking up some statistics, and it's very uneven. I mean, things that you would think would have been higher were lower, and the things you would have thought would be lower would be higher. Murders. Well, now that I've said that, it's ruined it for you. Murders, up or down?
Are we talking nationally? Because Connecticut's down. Just ask.
Yeah, in general. During COVID. In general, like, because you know this also, this is FBI data from the FBI that I'm using, but this isn't true across the board. This is a general statistic of an average of everywhere.
I would think technically should be down because no one should be out and about.
Right.
But it also makes people targets and easier to find and get to. So
murder was up dramatically.
I was gonna say, that's what I said, because you can people are, you know where they are. They're stuck in their house. So do what you gotta do.
Aggravated assault.
Oh, I would say definitely that last roll of toilet paper. I'm taking it.
That was up. Domestic violence.
Definitely
up. Yeah. You and I almost killed each other. I'm just kidding.
No,
no, we get along great. So that's probably the most obvious.
Yeah.
And we touched on it a little bit earlier with the people kind of thrown into these situations where now you can't leave.
Right. I got to be around them all the time.
Right.
What?
Right.
Yeah.
That's your inside voice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Motor vehicle theft.
Sure. I think sure. Why not?
Up or down?
I think probably up.
Up significantly.
Why not? Because no one's using it. So.
Well, but I also know why.
Because
it got worse as COVID carried on.
Because people couldn't get their parts to fix
because of all the parts of their
cars.
cars, so they start stealing cars for parts, and all of a sudden there's this demand for parts, and that's actually still kind of held. Robbery.
Type of robbery, like
robbery. Robbery. Just says robbery.
Nothing's open.
Why you gotta dissect it?
Because nothing's open. So you're talking like business robbery because there's nobody open. So I would think that would be down. Home invasion, might be up. So
it was down. Robbery was down.
That's what I was gonna say because everything's closed. So of course it's down.
Can you play the game a little bit, please?
I am. Oh, you want me to not make sense? I mean, yeah. How can you rob something that's not open?
Shoplifting.
I'm gonna say down. Same
really?
reasoning. Yes.
It was down, but my initial thought would have been that shoplifting is up.
There was nothing on the shelf to steal.
Yeah, but there
was nothing there. It was scary.
True, but people don't take things when they're shoplifting. They don't necessarily take things they need. They take things they want.
Yeah, there was nothing there to take.
Well, there was stuff.
You didn't go into the store.
There was stuff.
Okay.
Says I. So FBI reported that murders increased 29.4% from 2019 to 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. The largest single year increase since national records began in the 1960s. Aggravated assaults also rose about 12%, which is crazy.
Yeah. You got to have that toilet paper.
Yeah. Right. Violent crime wasn't necessarily uniformly higher. Overall, violent crime
Okay.
increased by about 5.2%.
Sorry, Cooper pushed me out of his way.
Oh, well, yeah, he had somewhere to be. Robbery actually fell by 9%.
Oh, that's not very much. I would have thought more.
Maybe, I don't know, but you also
Again,
yeah,
depends.
you're right. Because I mean,
Depends
what are
when
you
they
going to
were
rob when people
looking.
are home? Everybody's
Right.
home. You know, most people try to do it when they're not home. Yeah. So yeah,
Well,
I would.
again, and
Yeah, you're right.
businesses were closed, so you can't rob a closed business because, yeah.
Well, yeah, you can. That's when you break in. But I guess that's where I was thinking. I was thinking that now people, instead of breaking into homes, everybody is, you're going to break into buildings because offices are empty, stores are closed. I mean, that's where you're going to break in. I mean, don't say stores had nothing. There were things in stores,
There were.
and there were still department stores and other kinds of stores other than food stores. People weren't going to work all the time in those stores. Those places were fit for the taking.
Oh, well, I don't have the statistic, but I was going to ask you if it shows. How about gun ownership?
Why are you making me do research in the moment?
Well, I didn't know. I was asking if it was there because I would think it would be up because people were in their homes afraid of people coming in. So did the ownership go up so that for self-protection?
Gun ownership was one of the most noticeable behavioral changes during the COVID era. Regardless of where someone stands politically, the numbers show a clear surge in firearm purchasing beginning in March 2020.
Yeah.
An estimated 16.6 million U.S. adults purchased firearms in 2020, up from 13.8 million in 2019, an increase of nearly 3 million buyers. Yep. FBI background checks reached record highs in 2020 with more than 32 million checks conducted by the end of October alone. Background checks are not the same as gun sales, but they're widely used as an indicator of purchasing activity.
Right.
So, yep. Approximately 3.8 million Americans became first-time gun owners in 2020.
Yeah, because they were scared. They didn't know what was going on. So that makes sense. Do you think we'll have another
pandemic?
Yeah.
I mean, yes. Whether it's in our lifetime or not, I don't know.
Well, I'm talking about our lifetime. I don't care about not our lifetime.
That's why I litter. It happens in the world after I'm not in it. Recycling sucks. Don't do it. I won't be here. God, that's tough to say. I mean, I plan on being around a very, very long time. So I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
But I have to think no. I have to think that they learned something from this and are going to know how to handle it better. Here's the thing with me is, so when you see this thing start to roll out the way it rolls out, instead of shutting down the entire world, let's shut down the one place where it's taking off. Now, I know by the time you really know what's going on, people have, but let's take it out of this, namby-pamby. Everybody's got the right to the 100% true. But if there is something that is so dangerous that it can spread and kill any percentage of the population, let's take these one or two people at a time that have it and quarantine them. And I'm not saying stick them in a prison cell or stick them in a shithole. Put them in one of these FBI safe houses and give them whatever they want and need and let's take care of them, figure out what we can about what's going on with them and stop it so it's not spreading. As soon as you get patient zero, start tracking who's been in contact and make that same effort you did to track down patient zero to track down anybody else who may have it. And every time it pops up, you grab that person, you do the same thing. And you won't control it, but maybe it'll help you contain it.
But isn't that what they?
No. Like I said, I heard
I'm
stories,
talking about like when you traveled and you had to quarantine for 10 days or whatever in your place.
That was general. I'm talking very specifically let's say there's some random bat disease that escapes from, that hits the population in Wuhan, China, where there happens to be a lab that makes that virus, whatever. But let's just say, we're somewhere and a virus gets out and they know that the virus is now shut it down. That's where you shut it down. Nobody in or out. Nobody gets in contact with any other people.
How
We
do you
shut
do
it
that?
down here.
It's not one or
We
two
shut
people.
down the
By time
world. Bob, we
but by
shut
time
down the world.
but by time we realized what was going on, it wasn't just one or two people. This isn't like go
I understand,
rewatch
but it
Outbreak.
goes back to what I said. They do have this first case in the United States, or this first case in
that they knew of.
I understand that, but you can still, the more people with it you take out of the equation, the more you're trying to control the situation. It's better to try to get these people out of it than to take everybody out of it at the end. I don't understand why this is argumentative, because they shut down the whole world, shut down the one place it is as soon as it happens.
Right.
Nobody in, nobody out, and anybody who's been in the last incubation period, it's documented. I mean, everything's documented, who travels in and out of places. Now you know who gets on a plane in Bradley Airport and gets off in I don't know, Arizona. They can track all this stuff. They know who does it. So if anybody has gotten on or off a plane in there, they either stay or you track them down, you test them, you see if they have it, and it's not that difficult. I mean, it is difficult, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's certainly easier than shutting down the world and trying to figure out how to come back from that.
Yeah. It's a good theory, but
it's a great theory. It's my theory. And you know what? I'm going to, it's a great plan. It's a great plan. It's a great plan. And I'm going to copyright it so that when it happens, nobody can use it. Screw you. You made fun of me. Now you lost it. You lost it.
Well,
now everybody dies. That's it. Everybody's going to get it. Nope. Done. Done. I'm not helping anymore. I quit.
Where were you when this started? All I can say, like, you're genius.
I was hiding in a little tiny corner of my bedroom because I didn't want to get it. That's where I was.
Go watch the movie Outbreak. You got to go look for the monkey
I remember the movie Outbreak.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Let's be fair. They did a lot of stupid things in that movie. I want to go back to trust really quick, even though you brought me back to it earlier, too early. Again, without taking sides, I'm not just talking trust of our political figures. There's certainly enough blame to go around with our entire government for a lot of different things. But I'm talking about institutions in general. I'm talking about the media who was so partisan and divisive, and the media right now disgusts me, quite frankly. It's just full of people spewing opinions instead of reporting news.
Fake news.
No, it's got nothing to do with fake news. Shut up. It's got nothing to do with fake news. I'm talking about opinions on it. Like, my job as a newscaster, if I was to describe your outfit as a newscaster, I'd be like, and Bobby's here today. She's wearing a white striped hat and a white horizontally striped dress, which makes her look fat. I mean, what part of that was wrong of me? But I mean, that's essentially what's happening in the news, all around, all sides. So certainly there's a lack of trust in the media, soured very much by the whole COVID situation. Science couldn't get together on it. Who do we trust when the men of science? I mean, science is supposed to be facts. It's supposed to be, hypothesis proven by facts, or at least backed up as much as possible by facts. But I mean, you couldn't get a straight answer from anybody. Like I said before, to the simple, wear masks, don't need them.
Right.
And by the way, that's the same person. Don't need them. Wear them all the time. Wear them everywhere.
Yeah, but could it be something as simple as they just didn't know? I'm just
trusting science. These are the people who are supposed to know.
Right.
I mean, you don't know how basic viruses work.
But yet they came out with a vaccine.
Spread?
But yet they came out with a vaccine right away.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that people don't trust science. I mean, the side effects of the vaccines, there's things coming out now that we weren't told at the time. Do I think there's some grand conspiracy to kill 80% of the population through vaccines? Yes.
That's another topic.
Yeah, that was a joke.
That's another show. Yeah.
I don't. That's ludicrous. We'd all be dead by now. But there's certainly enough there was enough secrecy, enough it was rushed enough where there's doubt. I mean, there's trust issues that have evolved from that. Just saying. Corporations, mostly pharmaceutical corporations. I think everybody became a little more skeptical about everything because of it.
Yeah.
Even to the point where, like, again, in the automotive industry, we were telling people 2 years after it was over, there's supply chain issues. Why is my car here? We can't get this part. There's no part. Don't blame COVID. COVID was 2 years ago. Well, yeah. Well, we're going to be feeling the ramifications for a long time. And some things are never going to come back from it. There's the emotional cost of it is great too. Again, and I don't just mean the emotional cost of the losses people suffered, which was terrible, but that's a given. I mean, that's horrible. But we all know that one. But there's birthdays that came and went that didn't get celebrated. Milestone birthdays, and not just your 50th. I'm talking about for kids too, who don't understand, why can't I have my friends over? Why my friend's not here? And they missed more than one. They missed 2, maybe 3.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. And actually, going back to people who did pass, funerals with attendance limits. Like, you could only have a certain amount of people in a gathering at a time. So when somebody did pass, only a few people could go and pay their respects at that funeral.
Right.
Grandparents meeting grandchildren, parents meeting children through glass.
Yeah.
Looking through, not being able to hold their grandkids or nieces, nephews, cousins. And then maybe those grandparents never meeting those kids at all because they saw them through glass, and then maybe they got ill, or maybe time took them. And the social issues that stick. The depression, the anxiety, those things that are still lingering.
Yeah, the kids who didn't learn how to function around other
Yeah.
people.
Or the kids didn't learn how to learn.
Right.
I mean, there's people have a hard enough time learning in a school relationship. Never mind, now you're trying to learn through a screen.
Right.
And you're even more of a number than you are sitting in a classroom at that point.
Right.
Now you're just a face on a monitor, and there's less accountability person to person, than there would be person to person. Yeah, it was a crazy time. I mean, and the scary part is it could happen again. Do I know if it's going to? I think it's going to. I don't think we'll see one that bad. Hopefully they'll have learned enough to handle it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think anybody will ever be able to, like, you look back at a history book. You're never going to be able to describe the feelings during that time, or the feelings that came out of it, or why are we this way? Why do you have certain thoughts or feelings on things that relate to back then? Or why does that affect you if you didn't live it? You can talk about it all you want, and that can be said for anything throughout history. But this is just another one of those things that'll list dates and statistics and vaccines and economic numbers. List all the financials, death totals. But you're never going to be able to describe the feeling of walking into that Walmart and seeing not just empty shelves, but empty aisles.
Nobody.
Yeah, empty aisles. And then, one person down an aisle allowed at a time.
Right.
I remember when you went and you couldn't go down with Linnea. And you're like, she's my daughter. I can't go down the aisle with my daughter.
No, they wouldn't let us in the store.
Yeah,
I'm like, I can't leave her in the car. She's still young. I can't just leave her out there. And they're like, no, only one person can come in. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or wondering if that time, you hug somebody, like you talked about being at the Christmas party, not knowing if you hug somebody and then you go home sick, did you just get them sick? Did you just bring that on them?
Right.
And, and what if they had passed? What if you're one of these people who brought that sickness to somebody else and they didn't make it?
Right.
I mean, that's gonna last forever.
Yeah.
We kind of wondered the whole time when life would be normal again. And normal is such a weird word because I mean,
What's
it's
what
such
is
a yeah. What is normal? It's such a flexible word, kind of almost an arbitrary word. There is no normal, but we certainly never got back to where we were before, and I don't think we ever will.
right?
Yeah. We yeah, normal changes. It keeps changing, and I guess your job is to find out what that normal is in the moment. Yeah, and keep moving forward. All right. This was cool. It's weird. I thought this would be a little more depressing, and it wasn't. It brought back a lot of memories, a lot of
Yeah.
you know, not necessarily pleasant memories, but yeah, wow. Well, tell us your memories of it. You know, get in the comments, give us one of your stories. Let us know when you realized that it wasn't going to be 2 weeks to flatten the curve, or you know, when you kind of realized that you were going to be home for a while. You know, let us know. Were you scared financially? Were you not worried financially? Were you one of the people on the front lines of it? We'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear your COVID stories. Let's share them together. It's shaped a lot of who we are and who we're going to be for the next long time. And for people who are way younger than us, it's really shaped literally who they are in a lot of ways. And you know, now I've got to move forward dealing with that. Check us out on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. Check out our full episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. A quick shout out to every single person who has followed us on Facebook. In 10 weeks, we have hit 500 followers. Thanks, guys. That's a big milestone for us. I know some of you guys are out there being like, 500, that sucks. Not for us. We started this with nothing. We're nobodies. So for us to see that 500 hit relatively quickly makes us feel like we're doing something good.
We had a goal of we had a goal of hitting it by October.
By October, yep.
So and now we have a new goal.
Yeah. Well, here it is. First week in August, and we've hit it. So we're about 2 months early. So our new goal is we want to hit 1,000 listeners by Christmas.
Right. We can do it. You can do it.
Help us out. Pass along. Just if you 500 tell one person to do it, then we did it and we got it. And you guys have no idea how much that means to us. We do appreciate it. We do want more interaction. Like, comment, share. Sharing is great. You know, toss us a share, toss us a like, toss us your thoughts. We're also looking for episode ideas. We're always looking for episode ideas. If you don't feel comfortable posting on the socials for episode ideas, or if you have a story you want to share, hit us up at theforwardproject@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear your story and share whatever of it you are willing to share. All right. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for listening. This is The Forward Project.
Bye.